Hello my friends, I'm Duchess and welcome to my YouTube channel. I got a request to make a video on the different tools in Procreate. I'm not a professional Procreate artist, but I do know a bit about navigating in Procreate and using the Procreate tools. So hopefully this video can help you guys out if you guys are totally new and totally lost with this app. Since Procreate has so many different things we can use, I had to break this tutorial up into several parts. The first part I'm going to talk about is the Procreate Actions tool, specifically the Add and Canvas options. Let's get started. The Procreate Actions tool is this wrench button on the top left. This tool has many different options and there are so many things you can do with it. First, we have this Add button that we'll be focusing on. Here we can insert a file or a photo. I don't insert files often, but I do sometimes insert a photo when I'm drawing over a sketch that I made. You just click on it and it takes you to your photo library and you can add whatever image you want. There's also the option to take a photo, but that doesn't seem to work for my iPad, but that's okay because I don't ever use it. Then we have Add Text, which I think I've shown you guys in a previous video. Anyway, this allows you to type words into your drawing. Like if you're making a webtoon or a comic, you can use this to write the words. For a more detailed tutorial on the Add Text option, click the video on the top right. Then we have the Cut, Copy, Copy Canvas, and Paste options. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to move your drawing onto a different canvas, then you press Copy Canvas, exit the canvas, and enter a new canvas. Then go to the Actions tool and click Paste. Now, if you want to select a certain part of your drawing and paste it somewhere else, then you use the Selection tool. So you outline the part that you want to copy on a specific layer. Then go to the Actions tool, press Copy, exit the canvas, enter a new canvas, go to the Actions tool, then click Paste. The only part you selected was pasted onto this new canvas. The next tab in the Actions tool is Canvas. As a Canvas webtoon creator, I use this quite often. Crop and resize is used for cropping your drawing. I use this when I need to divide my panels for my webtoon. You should also use this to crop your drawings instead of cropping it as an image in your photo library. I noticed that if you save your drawing as a PNG or JPEG image and then crop it afterwards in your photo library, the image quality goes down a lot. Cropping your drawing on Procreate will definitely preserve the quality of your work. Next is the Animation Assist. I'm not an animator and I haven't really animated ever, but this tool is helpful if you do animation. So if you click on it, it'll show you your different layers or frames. Like here, it shows all the layers I use, and if you click play, then it plays my layers in the order that I put them in. It has some other complicated settings that I'm not quite sure about because I don't really animate. The next part is Page Assist. I actually never used this, but it seems to be similar to Animation Assist. Your layers or frames show at the bottom as pages. You can add another page, and if you click on a specific page, you see these two options, duplicate and delete. So that's pretty cool. To get rid of this Page Assist at the bottom, you have to go back to the Actions tool, go to Canvas, and click on the switch to take it away. Drawing Guide is the next tool, and I use it all the time for my webtoon. If you click on it, these grid lines will show up. Now, to utilize it however you want, click Edit Drawing Guide. I feel like I've made a video about this before, but I'll just go over it again. So now you have these other options. You have a 2D grid, the isometric grid, the perspective grid, and the symmetry grid. I use the 2D grid most for my webtoon, but these other grids are very helpful as well. The isometric grid is made up of a bunch of triangles, and I use this for more complicated drawings. For example, if I'm working on a background with lots of slanted lines and different shapes, I rely on this one a lot. Perspective is great because it helps you see where you should draw things. I don't use this much, but I probably should since I'm not very good at drawing from different perspectives. You tap on the canvas to create the vanishing point, and this grid comes up. The vanishing point is like, it just basically shows you where everything in the drawing should fade away into the distance, and it helps with the drawing just if you're not good at perspectives. Then we have symmetry, which makes it so that whatever you draw on one side will appear on the other side. It's nice if you're making a background and you don't want to draw the whole thing. I often do this with my webtoon backgrounds. I just draw the background on one side and let this tool do the rest. For these grids, you can adjust the opacity of the lines, the thickness, and the grid size. Opacity is how dark or light the color is. 100% opacity is very dark and visible, but 25% opacity is faint and not as visible. Thickness is the thickness. I prefer thinner grid lines so that I don't get distracted by the lines while I'm drawing and get confused. You know, like if there's a bunch of lines everywhere, I might think that it's part of my drawing, but it's really not. Grid size just changes the size of the lines. The grid options also has this cool thing where you can change the colors of the grid, which I think is really nice because it's just nice to have, I guess. I always use black or like a really dark blue because I just feel like it's easier for my eyes to see. The next option is reference, which allows you to add an image as a reference for drawing. For example, let's say I want to use an image to help me draw. You click the switch for reference and it shows us our canvas automatically, but you want to import an image so that you can use it as a reference. So you go to image and you click import. You select the image you want and it shows up as a small tab on your screen. The nice thing about this reference is that you can also move it around on the screen and adjust the size of it. To move it around on the screen, you have to click this little gray button here. It's like this little line thing, and you can move it or drag it across the screen, and then to adjust the size, pull on the corner edge of the tab. Then we have the flip horizontal and flip vertical tab. So this basically just flips the whole canvas to the other side. I highly recommend using the flip horizontal option because it really helps to make your drawings look better. It makes it easier to tell if your drawing proportions are off or not. You might not understand what I mean, but if you start using it, you'll start to see how it can help you with your drawing. Then canvas information, which is actually really helpful and nice. It takes us to this area here when we click on it. It just tells us all the information about the canvas we are working on. It includes the title of the art piece, which you can name. You can write that you are the creator of this art piece. I should really start doing that. You can even sign it, which is pretty cool. It tells you when you created it and when you last updated it, which is also nice. It tells you the size of your canvas as well as the DPI. DPI, by the way, stands for dots per inch, and this heavily affects the quality of your artwork. I used to have trouble with art quality because I had no idea what DPI was considered good and what DPI was considered not good. However, if you're having trouble with pixelation, I'd recommend increasing your DPI to 300 plus or increasing the dimensions of your canvas, like maybe 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. Like here I have a 200 pixel by 200 pixel at 300 DPI. And here is 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels at 300 DPI. Next is layers, and it just shows you how many layers you have, the types of layers you're using, and the maximum amount of layers you use. Hopefully you never use the maximum amount because that's a lot. Color profile, I don't know anything about that really, so I'm just going to skip that. Video settings, this is the information for your videos. In Procreate, you can export your artwork as a video and it'll show the whole drawing process. So this information is related to the video that would be exported through Procreate. It also includes the file size, which is pretty important because sometimes apps or video editing programs have a file size limit, so you always want to be aware of the size. Then we have statistics, which show the total amount of time your pencil touched and slid across the screen, how long it took you, and the file size of the drawing. I often look at this to make sure that my file size isn't too large. Webtoon only allows 20 MB to be uploaded per episode, so I always have to be careful not to exceed that limit. Alright, so I know that was a lot for one video, and I didn't want to make a video that was 2 hours long about how to use Procreate. I will be making a little series to help you guys out with navigating this app, and I'll even create a playlist so you guys can find it easily. The video for next week is probably going to be about how to export your artwork as a video or as an image. And I was just going to make that into its own video because it's a lot of information, but yeah. That is all I have for you guys this week. If you enjoyed this week's video or learned something new, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get notified. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next week.